I'm going to cover something that nobody else in the canning or the prepper community has covered before. The Canna Lily, or the Canna indica. This is the closest living relation to gingers and bananas. This is a wonderful plant. It has so many uses. You have no idea. This is an absolutely wonderful plant. I know a lot of you are thinking, well, he's gone off his rocker. He's a little bit loopy. As far be it from the case. You watch this video all the way to the end, and then you can go ahead and judge me, make comments, and tell me how you feel about this plant. Wait till you see what this plant can actually do. These plants can be bought at big box stores, and you can buy the seeds on the internet from multiple sources. They have many varieties. You won't be disappointed in this video. I promise you that. If you watch it all the way to the end, then go ahead and judge. Like I said before, a lot of you are going to think I'm loopy about this plant, but nothing can be farther from the truth. Get on the internet, do a search for canna lilies, and then go ahead and judge me after viewing this video. It's one of the world's richest starch sources. The rhizome of the canna is rich in starch, and it has many uses in agriculture. And like I said, you look it up and you're going to find it is one of the world's richest starch sources. It's got multiple uses, multiple applications. You can eat this plant raw. You can cook it. You can bake it. You can use it to feed your livestock. A lot of people buy prepared grains for their animals. And like I said, if it comes down to a survival situation, this plant is absolutely perfect for that. And all I can say is you won't be sorry that you invested in this plant. And they are fast growing and they're easy to grow. The seeds of the canna lily are used in jewelry, musical instruments. They're used for making alcohol in certain areas. They're used for making paper. They're also used for making dyes, cellophane noodles, and smoke from burning leaves is said to be insecticidal. These plants are very good at resisting insects. There's a few pests that are a pain in the butt, like leaf rollers when it comes to canna lilies. I've been growing these probably, I'd say, 5-6 years, and this is the first year I've had a problem with leaf rollers. But if you basically keep them in check, spray them once in a while, you'll have no problems out of them whatsoever. Canna lilies are used to extract many undesirable pollutants in a wetland environment, and they have a high tolerance to contaminants. So in other words, if you had a leaching field or something like that, you had some bad water runoff, such as oil or something like that, these plants are absolutely wonderful. They actually absorb the toxins, if you can believe it. And no, it isn't transferred to the plant, in case you're worried about eating the plant. Also, with these plants, they're very, very drought tolerant. The more water that you can give them, the more they like it, the quicker they'll grow. But if you want to plant them and forget them, they'll still grow anyway, regardless. And they will all still produce seeds. There are some varieties that won't produce seeds. I wouldn't worry about it. They do spread quickly, but they are beautiful, and they do flower continuously. Believe it or not, canna lilies are grown for food in South America. Although they originated in the Americas, they are not a primary food, but they are basically a supplemental food in South America and a lot of other countries. As I stated before, they have a lot of nutrition, they have a lot of starch, and there's different varieties that you can go with. I believe there's up to 20 different varieties. You're going to have to do your research on the internet. And I did, as I said before, they can be bought in the spring at big box stores. If you don't know what that means, they can be purchased at Lowe's. They can be purchased at Home Depot, Walmart. I happen to have mine imported from other countries. So right now I have about 15 or 16 different varieties. They're specialized varieties, and these are considered hermaphrodites. I know somebody's going to make a damn comment about that. That means the plant is both sexes, so it can basically reproduce itself. If you've got one little tiny plant, it'll reproduce, no problem. These plants have been cultivated for over 4,000 years in their native range in Central and South America. They are very hardy and they are used in multiple applications. Now here's a fun fact for you. These plants, the seeds themselves, have lasted over 600 years. That's right, archaeologists have found these seeds and actually cultivated them. That's how good these seeds are. You can actually, if you have a seed and you actually walk on it, not stomp on it, it will not crush. These seeds are rock hard, and they will last. Once you harvest them, they should be pretty much dried out, or you can dry them out yourself. Just leave them out for a half hour to air dry, and don't put them in a Ziploc bag, of course. You want it to be able to breathe, and these seeds will last forever. One plant, if you were to buy just one plant and go ahead and plant it, you'll get at least, maybe not the first year, but the second year that it takes off. I could be wrong. They might take the first year, but I've been growing mine for quite a few years. If you grow them for at least a couple years, one plant alone will produce at least 30 to 50 seeds, if not more. As I stated before, Canna lilies are easy to grow. They produce a lot of seeds. Usually they'll produce some the first year and quite a few the second. The longer you let them get established, the more seeds they'll produce. But don't be alarmed if you plant one and it drops 50, 60 seeds to the ground. And next year, don't expect all those seeds to come up. It's not going to happen. They're going to take 2, 3, 4 years, even longer to come up. They have a very hard seed coating. The best thing to do is collect the seeds like I do. And believe it or not, there's a lot of people that buy these seeds. You don't believe it? Get on eBay, type in Canna Lily seed, and you'll be amazed at how many people love these plants and actually turn around and they trade the seeds and the rhizomes on these plants. As I stated before, it's very hard to overwater these. These are actually, I've seen these planted next to ponds in marshes, areas where you have water that's a problem for a runoff. I've also seen people just plant them in front of a house in a flower pot. They're best if you don't put them in a flower pot and just let them basically grow in the ground. They will flourish if you give them fertilizer, but you don't have to. You can plant them and forget them. That's how easy it is to grow these things. Like I've said multiple times, Canna lilies produce lots of seeds. There's different varieties, of course, and they bloom all summer right into the fall, non-stop, constantly. And the more water you give them, the more they will flourish. Okay, here's where a lot of you are going to go, oh my God, he isn't serious. I'm dead serious. These seeds can be used for buckshot. They've been used for God only knows how many years in firearms, in smoothbore and choked weapons, or firearms rather, and they can be used for buckshot. And I'm going to show you a better picture here in a little bit that actually shows you the difference between a double-aught buck and one of these seeds. Now the seeds are lighter, but they can be used. That's how hard these seeds actually are. As you can see by the highlighted blue arrow, there's your canna seed next to a double-aught buck. The size difference, they're a little bit more oblong, but they can still be used, believe it or not. If you get caught in a situation where you have plenty of powder, and the thing about shotguns is they take multiple different kinds of powder. You can use red dot, blue dot, green dot, Hodgson HS6. There's multiple different kinds of powders that you can use. So let's say you saved a bunch of these seeds and something were to happen, the economy were to collapse, or you were without power and you needed food or something like that. A lot of you probably saying, well, I'll use my 22 or I'll use my other rounds or something like this. If you end up in a really bad situation and you have nothing, this is a good solution. I know it's not a long-range solution, but it's a good solution, especially self-defense, believe it or not. Be kind of weird telling people you got shot by a plant, though. Again, here is another close-up picture, even closer up picture, highlighted by the blue arrow. You can see the Canna Lily. It's a little oblong, like I said before, compared to the double-aught buck. I know I'm going to get a lot of comments on this, but I'll tell you what, if you're in a situation where you don't have any double-aught buck and you need to defend yourself, these things are going to hurt. They're going to sting and possibly kill depending on how close you are to a person. Like I said, I know I'm going to get a lot of bad comments and people are going to think I'm loopy, but if you look at this plant overall and what it can do, it's absolutely amazing, and they're easy to grow, and nobody's a wiser because you've got a nice pretty Canna Lily growing in front of your house, around your house, and nobody's the wiser as to what you're doing. They just see a nice pretty plant, so to speak. I welcome any comments, any suggestions, and I know I'm going to get a lot off of this video. Nobody else has actually covered this on YouTube. A lot of people have said, well, yeah, we collect seeds for this and this and this and this and this. We have a seed bank. I've seen on Doomsday Preppers that they had seeds for all kinds of vegetables and all kinds of plants. That's great. That's absolutely wonderful. But you cannot rule out this plant as being useful. This plant is wonderful when it comes to being used. And the thing is, you can use the rhizomes on this. If you don't know what that is, that's basically the root clump on this. You can eat it raw the way it is. Of course, you're going to want to clean it off. A lot of people, what they do is they bake it for a couple hours in the oven, the rhizomes themselves, and they eat them. And I never have. I'm willing to try it. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. And I think it's an absolutely wonderful plant. But please leave your comments and suggestions. I'm interested in what a lot of you are going to say about this. And I know I'm going to get some slack over it. But you can't deny that this plant is basically a super plant at that. One thing that I did forget to mention, if I get some positive results out of this and I get people that are more interested in this plant, I will actually go over basically how to harvest your seeds, how to cross-pollinate these. If you want to do it yourself, you don't have to. They will do it themselves. Basically how to separate the rhizomes so you can basically spread the plant itself out into different locations. I will go over how to propagate the seeds. And it's not as easy as just taking a seed, plopping it in the ground, hoping for the best. These plants don't work that way. There's a special way to actually get the seeds to germinate, and the best time to plant them, and how to plant them in your house, how to avoid frost, and how to care for them. Like I said, if I get enough positive responses for this, from this rather, I will make more videos on how to care for this plant. Thanks for watching.